Hello, boss. What's up? What's up? Welcome to a new video. And this video is going to be special because I'm going to be making a two-part series wherein I speak about my experience interning at an MNC and a startup. So let's view what were the key takeaways from my journey, both like interning at a startup and a company to an MNC, I would say. So in this first part, I'll be talking about the points that what were the key takeaways of me working in a startup, and in the second part, I would be talking about my key takeaways in an MNC, interning at an MNC. So yeah, let's get started. The first point is excellent learning environment. What do I mean by excellent learning environment? So you would be working on things that you would have never even thought about, that you would be working on these things actually. For example, the scale of whatever that you would be building and the impact that it would be causing, right? It would be unimaginable, guys. So because usually in startups, I worked at an early stage startup. So since the team size is small, because we always have this notion that great products are built by lot many people and all those factors, right? But you would be shocked to see for yourself that some of these products, whatever we build in startups, they're actually built by a bunch of, I would say, like 40 or 50 people, or sometimes even lesser than that. So it gives you a great deal of confidence that you are actually like working on something that actually matters, and your work is highly impactful, and the learning curve would be, I would say, exponential, right? Because since you'll be working on a multitude of things, you have to pick up those tech stacks or uh, whatever, right? So the requirements very quickly. So all that would be done in a startup. So that was my first point. My second point is uh, unstructured environment and less hierarchy is sometimes beneficial too. I would say most of the times beneficial. Why? Because whenever you see in an MNC in an MNC setting, basically, I'll give you a small example. Say, for example, you're stuck on a bug, let's say, and you're not able to resolve that. So say if you have to resolve that particular issue, and your teammate or your superior or your senior is unavailable, right? So then you see that there's a hierarchy, right? So sometimes you need to like set up a calendar invite or a Zoom invite and then send it to them and ask if and check their calendar and basically check if they're free or not, and then you have to basically wait for them until they respond and all that. Whereas in a startup, you just go to that person, you ask them your particular doubt, because it's mostly an informal setting, right? And it's like, basically, imagine that you're working with your friends versus working with your colleagues, right? So I would kind of consider that in a startup you usually have that very relaxed and friendly environment, I would say, compared to an MNC wherein you usually know that he or she is your superior and you have to behave accordingly. I mean, not saying that you don't behave as a startup, but you get that feeling, right? So it's like less of a hierarchy, and basically there's less of BS too. Whenever there's less of hierarchy and unstructured environment, it's very fruitful, I would say, for both the companies as well as to you. For example, say if you have something on your mind and you have to like immediately, and you feel that you have to communicate with your founder or probably your superior, right? What you would end up doing in a corporate is you have to set up a meeting, and then yeah, basically the same process what I told. But in a startup, you just walk up to that person, you communicate your ideas, you throw your ideas, and yeah. So I find that like very very useful, because there's a lot of elimination of BS, and yeah, it gets your work done very fast. So that was my second point. My third point is you get to pick up a multitude of skills and you work on many things. For example, I worked at a startup wherein I initially joined as a full stack web developer, but I ended up as a metaverse developer too, and I started working even on metaverse and even built desktop apps. So there were some cool stuffs what I built because so I interned there for 6 months. Prior to that, so 6 months before, if you would have told me that you would be building an application that would be soon going on Microsoft Store or anything like that, I would be like, "What? No, I'm. Are you sure I'm gonna be able to do that, right?" Because when you don't have that faith or ability that you would end up being responsible to building stuffs like these. But in an early stage startup or startup setting in general, usually pushes your limit and you end up building things that you wouldn't have even imagined that you would be doing. So that was my third point. My next point is you get this one big takeaway, right? Or the key takeaway. So that is everything is possible. Everything is possible because I mean, once you start seeing your founders, you get inspired by their work ethic, how they basically took an idea into an actual production, or basically something that wasn't tangible to making something that is a product, right? So that instills a lot of confidence and it strengthens your belief that everything is actually possible if we plan accordingly and work towards that. So everything is possible was one big key takeaway what I learned by working at a startup. So and one more thing what I feel is you learn the importance of shipping things really fast, okay? Because speed and intensity is all that matters in a startup. If you don't have that speed, even if your product is not perfect, you need to ship those things really fast, right? Because you can't like keep waiting until you get that perfect product or whatever, or until you achieve perfection. You need to keep shipping things and you need to simultaneously make updates, and yeah, that's the way it is. So I hope I have covered all the points that I wanted to uh, actually tell. So these were some of my experiences working at a startup. So I worked at two startups. I interned at two startups. Uh, yeah. So in the next video, I'll be talking about my experience interning at an MNC. Till then, stay tuned, guys. See you. See you in my next video. Bye bye.